welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another episode of Girlfriends and Football. It's your girl, Desi and Beth in the house. Thank you again for joining us. I know usually we go on Wednesdays. Today we're on Thursdays. Before I forget, please be sure to like, subscribe, share, all the things. But we're always so thankful that you join us. It's going to be a wild Thursday. Beth, hey girl, hey, welcome to a Thursday pod. How are you?
Doing well. I'm so glad that we were able to make this happen. I know you had a fabulous birthday yesterday, so we had to postpone.
Yes.
You are entering into the Hurricane Helene as we are preparing for the aftermath of such. So
yes. So first and foremost,
do this.
Yeah. First and foremost, prayers to everyone in the path of Hurricane Helene. That is everyone in the Panhandle right now. Thankfully, so far, I live in the Tampa Bay area. Winds are starting to pick up now. We've not really had much rain today, but we'll stay prayed up for all of our people in the wake or in the path of Hurricane Helene. So, yes, yesterday was my birthday, and I would have loved to have had a W for my team, but my family showed up and showed out. I got my Jawan Jennings shirt on today. So, we have to represent. Jawan had a big game this past week. So, love to you, Jawan. We did not get an L because of any lack of effort from you for sure. So, so let's get into it, girl. So talk to me about how you felt about week 3. There was lots of games. Do you want to start with updating our how our picks went?
We tied this week actually for our picks. I know, so my husband and my son decided that to do picks as well because they were jealous of us and all the fun that we were having with it. So they chose to do it with us. I would like to say that my almost 12-year-old son kicked all of our booties and won this week. He had picked all the correct upsets. It was pretty impressive. He picked Carolina.
What?
He picked Carolina. He's like, that's my upset of the week. And he was not wrong. So Gabe he won this week for sure. But Desi and I tied. We both did well. The big game that was probably the one that we thought would be the make or break it was the Kansas City Atlanta game. And as hard as Atlanta fought, Kansas City just has that golden ticket right now. So.
I really feel like we kind of thought, I think we were just trying to put that positive energy into the Atlanta W that we thought was we at least thought it was possible. But if we were really, really putting money on it, I feel like we would have probably picked Kansas City, right? I mean, yeah.
So you picked Kansas City. Like you didn't put the faith in Atlanta, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. It's got to happen at some point. They've got to get a loss. And that's kind of what my picks were for this upcoming week. I really went through. There's 5 teams that are 3-0 right now. Seattle, Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Minnesota, right? So pretty much all of them I voted against this week, except for Buffalo, because at some point you have to lose.
Well, I tried to watch your Buffalo game, and it was such a boring game. I couldn't.
Oh, it was not.
Fabulous for you. Like I love that for you. Love that for you. But honestly, I was like, I have 2 players from the Bills. I have your guys' kicker and I have Kincaid. My fantasy team, I don't think has scored more than 60 points all season so far. So it got me right at 59.8, I think is what I got in my fantasy league. And I was just like, damn, I am 0-3, y'all. So, I love that you guys got the W, but I didn't pick the right Bills players for my fantasy team for sure.
You know what? There isn't the right Bills player for a fantasy team this year. And I think that's what is making them so good, right? They don't have we had 6 touchdowns with 6 different people. I mean, it was insane. It was insane.
It's crazy.
10 different players caught passes. Like, I mean, just there's nothing there. You can't. We don't have a go-to right now, right? Like, we've got several weapons, and unless you have Josh Allen or the defense, Buffalo's not going to help you in fantasy.
Yeah, I know. That's the same thing with the Niners. We just pass the ball around. We do pretty good distribution of the ball. But to anyone that put Juwan Jennings on their starting lineup, shout out to you, because y'all are real winners. Because yeah, I didn't even have that option. But talking about upsets this week, they're not just, for you, the Chiefs and the that upset with Atlanta, which I'm not sure that was an upset, but nonetheless, the Bucks. Like, what, the Barnacles?
Yes.
Where the Broncos, for real? Like, and it wasn't close. It was 26-7. That was crazy. The one
I wish we had Sherry for that game to come on, because to give us some kind of insight, because I was in awe of that score. I was not watching that game, unfortunately, but I don't know if I would have wanted to. It never would have crossed my radar to turn out like that.
No, but the one that broke my heart, besides my Niners game, we'll get to that one, but the Texans getting rolled by the Vikings. Like, Sam Darnold is on some kind of weird mission. Like, good for you, Sam Darnold, seriously. But like, CJ Stroud, again, my quarterback in the freaking fantasy league. But like, again, not even close, 7-34. Like, it's crazy. What's happening in Minnesota? Shout out to all my Minnesota fans out there.
And that was the game that I had. I thought they were going to win. I was glad that they did. You're right. He's on a mission. He is that quarterback that's taken a long time to find his own. And I think he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah, he's cooking, and I'm here for it. But we picked that, or at least I picked that as the game of the week. And it really wasn't.
You did.
It really was not the game of the week. I think, interestingly, so I'm watching my Niners. Okay, full disclosure, I'm about to make a confession here. Don't judge me, people. Maybe you will, but that's okay. Maybe most of you might have done the same thing that I did. But I attended my son's banquet for his club track team, and I had the game on my phone. Not gonna lie. I was kind of like, the volume was off, but I could at least see and peer at it. So I watched probably the first quarter and a half, then drove home and tried, I was home by halftime, and then watched the second half, and probably could have just lived my life watching the first half, because we looked great up until, and my husband's a Ravens fan. So he's in the front of the house watching the Ravens game. I'm in the back room watching the Niners game. And both of us were, rocking it out in the first half. And then you can hear us both yelling at the TV in the second half of the game. It was just so painful. So
yes.
Anyway.
I don't know what happened there either. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Like,
well, Technics,
you're better than how you're playing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the injuries for sure that's playing a factor. But Technics, like, you're nailing it, girlfriend. First of all, thanks for joining us. You are such a pleasure to have as a little voice here on our comment section. But she said, saw a great article that basically talked about how Flores has figured out the Shanahan tree offense. D'Amico, of course, is one of those, as is Mike McDaniel. If you do look at that, teams that are from that tree are faltering a bit. So that is a very interesting. If you want to send me that article, that would be great. I would love to read that. So yeah, that's probably some insight there. Go Pack Go, like the Packers. I mean, it was the Titans, but 30-14 without Jordan Love. That's huge. It was a tight game between the Eagles and the Saints. Eagles came up 15-12.
That was a good game, and I thought that was going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Both of us got it wrong. We both thought New Orleans was going to win. Listen, I said we'd talk football and drink. I didn't say I would be good at talking football. It was rough, man. I was going through these games.
Chaos.
It is. It's been rough. It's been rough.
I know. I had high hopes for the Chargers, but then, they got a little bit of the injury bug. I don't even know what like where in the game that happened, but the Steelers, again, they're on a roll. So, Rocky, if you're out here listening to us, I know you're proud of your Steelers, man, as you should be. So that was 2010.
And that's a team I did not expect to be sitting at 3-0.
No,
I just didn't. They did not cross my radar this year like that.
But if you're a New York Giants fan, you see all enjoyed your first win of the season, right? So Giants overtook the Browns, which I'm not upset about, 21-15. And like you said, Gabe picked that Carolina Panthers team over the Raiders. Did he? What's his science? How did he pick that team? Have you talked to him? Like, what's his method?
He has no method. He's 11.
Gosh, he's just uninhibited. He doesn't have that.
He just knows. He just knows. He just felt it in his soul. No, but he did say, he was like, no, it's time. They can't go. They're not going to lose another game. They're not going to go 0-3. I was like, all right, but they don't have a quarterback. And then they put in, Sam Darnold, and right? Is that who he put in? Am I making things up? Who do they put him in? Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was like, Sam Darnold. So they put in Andy Dalton, and next thing you know, like, they have an offense again. So I sure hope that Bryce Young learns a little bit of something, takes a breather, and comes back stronger.
Yeah, I sent you that funny Andy Dalton meme. That was classic. So Monday Night Football, your Bills took it to the Jaguars for sure. And then the other game, this is the only thing where I'm like, okay, the 49ers are 1-2, but look at the Bengals.
They're like 0-3 right now. They're 0-3.
Yeah. I mean, the Commanders came in and did their thing. I actually turned it off, the Bills game, because I was like, they have it on lock, and put it on the Bengals game for a bit too. And, Daniels is just looking really good, and, things were clicking. And one thing I can say, guys, like, I grew up in the DC area. I'm originally from Arizona, but grew up in Baltimore area, where we didn't have a football team, until the Ravens came. And, a lot of people that I went to school with were all, Redskins fans. So I could not stand the pigskin, the pig face mat. I couldn't stand it. It it made me just ill looking at it. And for the first time watching the Commanders, and I know we're not, not everybody's a huge fan of the Commanders, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I will say that it was actually enjoyable to watch them and not have to deal with like the whole pig stuff and all. Like, never liked that. So I was kind of.
You could be a vegetarian and still enjoy watching the game.
Not even that. I mean, okay, we'll go there. I am Navajo. I am Native American, and not that I want to like place my opinion on the whole vast of my culture or whatever, but I did just kind of feel some kind of way about the term growing up around it, and then having pigs like the Redskins. Where does the pigs come in?
Yeah, where does the pig come in?
It was just all like yuck to me. So I just didn't like it. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, all of that stuff is gone. The uniforms look kind of nice. Like, okay, I
rebranded.
Rebranding. I'm here for the rebranding. So I know not everybody's about that, but I will just put that out there. So, all right. So we're going to
not everybody's living it either. So
not everybody is true. So now we're through week 3, which I still feel like my head is spinning. We will talk a bit about the Niners game here. So we have already, going into that game, was without Christian McCaffrey. We were already without Deebo Samuel. George Kittle ended up sitting out this game as well. What happened was people stepped up. And it ended up being Juwan Jennings. He had a huge game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was all over the place. And I was here for that. Kyle Shanahan, we looked good for 3 quarters of the game. And it just went downhill in that 4th quarter. We endured another injury that is actually Javon Hargrave is one of our defensive linemen who tore his triceps. Like, I texted Beth. We were texting back and forth, and I was like, when have you seen a triceps tear? Like, And Greg, sorry, that's
there's a hurricane coming.
Hurricane Helene is coming. So this is, sorry guys, if we suddenly go dark, it's because I lost Wi-Fi or something happened. But
or here, because we've been having rain for 48 hours straight, and the wind's not coming until 3 a.m. So who knows what we look like in the morning too. So
oh goodness. Okay, Beth is in Atlanta and I'm in Tampa. So Javon Hargrave tore his triceps. Beth and I have been texting back and forth, like, where have you even ever? I know in my career, I have never seen a triceps tear. It does happen. It seems to happen more with bodybuilders. It does happen with football players. It's aggressive elbow extension against resistance. So, you talk about those linemen, they're pushing, and with that arm pushing down on pads, that's enough to tear that triceps tendon. So we'll talk more about that in our sports and medicine segment. But I just say that to say that we lost another person, and that one's going to be gone for the whole season. So we now have been without Dre Greenlaw. We did just get Talanoa Hufanga back. He looked pretty good. Charvarius Ward looked a little not himself, but he was one that ended up playing knowing that we had some sort of weird hamstring knee thing going on. Anyway, guys, I got nothing. We should have won that game. It was a heartbreaker. There's no words. I don't know. Bask in your Bills win, Beth. Go ahead.
I'm going to take it while I can.
Oh, we have to talk about DeMar. Share with us. That's exciting.
And DeMar had his. So the last time that he started Monday Night Football, we've discussed it before. He had that crazy heart. I can't even say it. You need to say the words. What is it? The cardio. What is it called? What's the heart? What happened to him?
Where his heart stopped. Yes.
What's the name of that?
Oh gosh.
The cardio. I'm sorry. It was just the name. Anyway, so his heart stopped on the field. He basically died on the field. That was his last experience of starting a football game and Monday night. He came back first start Monday Night Football in Buffalo, and he had an interception, y'all. And if you could have seen the rest of that team just surround him, you would have thought he got a touchdown. He ran into the end zone. The whole team was behind him. His game ball, he got the ball. He got all the things. It was just such a moment for everybody to be there and experience it, and for him to be there.
That's what it was. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm like, this. You're the one who this is your job, Desi.
Well, I'll explain what's happening in my brain also in the sports and medicine segment, but carry on. Yes.
But so the fact that it happened, it was just, God, all of it. It just felt so good for him. And we were so happy to see that for him. And we can't wait to see all the good things he has. Because again, he wasn't a starter, right? And he's now starting, and because we also have a ton of injuries and things like that. And they're holding their own. I mean, same thing. The Bills defense, for as far down we are in the tree right now of people who are playing, they're all holding their own. Shout out to our defensive coordinator for making all that happen. It's been beautiful to watch.
It has. And it was really cute watching Von Miller with baby Von Miller. I saw him with his little baby out there. Just the baby looks so small next to him,
right.
So adorable. So I'm here for all of that. And that's our recap of week 3, y'all. Beth is loving it. I'm still licking my wounds from it. So on that note, let's carry on. Something else, we'll go ahead and go to our segment called Dun Dun Dun, Rate the Fit. Rate the fit. Rate the fit.
Yeah. All
right. So this when we
need somebody to get some music going for us.
I know.
Who wants to write us some jingles?
I totally had time to do this today, and I don't know. I got caught up making all the images and just forgot to put the music with it. But anywho, Rate the Fit is where we post on Instagram. You can follow us at Girlfriends and Football on Instagram. We post each week the outfits that we want you guys to rate. You guys get to give us the opinions on who did it best. And this week we had 4 people. And I will say, when I posted this, The person that got runner up, it was a nice outfit. And actually, I loved it. And I think it was the one that you texted. You were like, this, this looks good. And it is. It's a great outfit. It's a suit. But, it was either you love it or you didn't love it. And this is the outfit right here. Rate the fit. So this is it Jonathan Sims?
Yeah.
And he is with the Atlanta Falcons. And he has this nice suit on. But my girlfriend was like, did he use his drapes to make the suit? So there was that. My other girlfriend was like, why didn't he go shirtless underneath of that? So, there's that. She didn't want to
that would have been nice.
I told her it matches I told her it matches the ear pods he had in the iPods that he had.
Or the bag, or the Louis Vuitton bag he's carrying.
Yeah. So he got runner up. So congratulations. You are the runner up. But the winner chicken dinner was Trey Brown from the Seattle Seahawks. He was a black on black outfit, black pants, black shirt, and a really nice black jacket. With matched very well with his. I think it was like it's probably not silver. It's probably like what's
white gold
or platinum. Yeah, it's probably some kind of iced out beautiful thing that pops with all the beautiful black that he's wearing. So everybody liked the classic look. So this is our winner.
That's what we got this week.
It was close. So that's our winner chicken dinner. All right, Beth, let's move along to cocktails and mocktails. What's our recipe for this week?
So that's the other thing. I ended up we broke the curse. So I don't have to worry about making a drink and them losing. Last week we did
wait, explain the curse. Explain the curse to all the people.
So the first 2 weeks I made drinks, those teams lost. So I was making a drink for the game of the weekend. Both of those teams lost. And then by week 3, I was like, crap, I got to really be careful what I do now because I don't want to jinx anybody.
But you were trying to jinx somebody.
So week 3, I was like, well, let's throw it out there and see. Maybe because if they lost, I wouldn't feel bad, right? So I made a drink for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, just because that's who I am. And it was called the Conspiracy Theory. It's a fantastic drink. Check our Instagram page, check our Facebook pages. It's still listed up there. Very, very good. But they won. So the Jets won, so you could celebrate with that drink as well. And now I don't have to be fearful that a team that I pick will lose that following week. So I feel much better about picking drinks the way I want to pick drinks now. This week, I chose Atlanta Falcons.
Yay!
And it is because Atlanta is playing New Orleans, and that's always a huge game here in Atlanta. Huge game. Tons of transplants from New Orleans from hurricanes, and therefore it's always a huge game. The Falcons Flight, it's called. It is so good. It's tequila, triple sec, blackberry syrup, and a little cranberry juice, and a little bit of soda water for a splash. It is beautiful. It's a good kind of fruity drink without being too sweet. So do it. It is a lot of fun. The photography, I want to say real quick, the photography for that was done by my son. He's in photography this year, and he's been super excited about taking pictures.
Tell Gabe he's now going to be considered our junior producer.
Right? I mean, he's in it. He's ready.
I'm here for it. And so our mocktail.
And then for the mocktail, because peaches are a huge deal in Atlanta, Georgia peaches are a thing. And so we did this a couple weeks ago at a cookout at our house, and they turned out so good. It's peach honey syrup. And so you make that over the stove, and then it's just with either still water, or we used some sparkling water, some club soda. So good with a little bit of mint. The mint really makes it pop. It was a favorite in our house for non-alcohol drinking guests. They really enjoyed this.
Love it. I don't know which one. Maybe I'll make them both. They both look delicious. So
now I also believe that peach one would be really great with a little vodka or tequila, like a little daiquiri. I think. I
think they're both options that you can make them into a cocktail or mocktail.
Yes.
Just plus or minus the alcohol. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, on to the next segment, which this is actually probably what we're best at here. Since we're not great at picking the games, having great fantasy teams, we do know a thing or two about medicine. So sports and medicine. And this week we are going to dive into a couple of things. So we'll start with, do you want to start with Christian McCaffrey or do you want to start with Javon Hargrave's tricep tear?
Let's start with Javon Hargrave. Because that's such a crazy.
It is crazy. So Javon Hargrave, like I said earlier, he's on our defensive line, and he tore his triceps. So Beth, talk to us about the triceps. I have an image up that shows the tricep muscle.
That's so beautiful. So the tricep, the tricep is the muscle along the backside of your arm. It is the muscle that women are always trying to tone. As we get older, that's the one that gets kind of floppy. To just give you a reminder of what's there. In athletes, it becomes very strong, but it also is the weaker of the two muscles, right? So we have biceps on the front and triceps on the back. Typically, the backside muscles are weaker than the front side muscles. It's just kind of nature of the beast, the way we use our body. It has 3 heads at the top. It inserts both at your shoulder. You can see it, the tubercle up there, and the lateral head is on the top of your forearm. And the other one is hidden in there somewhere. I can't see. It's not on this picture. Yeah, the medial head is not shown in there. But so it inserts 3 different places up at the top to help shoulder movement. It helps with abduction, so bring your arm out, extending it backwards, and extending your elbow. So it does all those 3 movements, and then it's attached down, as you can see, at your elbow there. The tears usually occur, they can tear in the middle or down near the elbow is usually where we see it tear. Is that correct, Desi? Is that what you've read as well?
Yep.
And so again, what we said, it is a very aggressive movement to cause this type of tear and cause this kind of injury. So did we ever get to see the video of how he did it? Did you ever see a specific injury? I didn't see one when I was looking.
I didn't, but there was a video circulating showing that they were, I hated it for him because I kind of was like, there might be something else going on. There was a video circulating that there was a play where a running back went up, or their running back was going between, and he looked like he didn't even he could have come off the offensive lineman he was defending, and he kind of could have come off of that tackle to kind of go for the running back, and he kind of didn't. He was kind of it looked like he half-assed it, right? And so were just, fans were like, oh, he just muffed that, he whiffed it, what's wrong with him, he's not working hard enough, all these things. And then it later comes out after the game that he had torn his triceps. So we don't have the video on it. But I did look this up because it was such an interesting injury.
So I think the question is, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's going to require surgical intervention where they're going to just repair that. And interestingly, because you guys know how fascinated I am with the internal bracing, I immediately looked it up to see if there was I didn't see any documentation anywhere of that being done for the triceps injury. But again, remember, the triceps injury is such a rare injury to start with. I wouldn't put it past him to try it. I mean, why not?
But I think they are doing internal bracing for it, whether it is the speed bridge per se, but they do some internal bracing for some of those surgeries, which I think is kind of cool. But the problem is it is such a rare injury and it's such a difficult muscle to rehab, that it is a super long process, no matter what repair process you take, right? I know. Techniques chicks were right. She said, it's like, what Niners injury do you want to talk about? There's a lot right now.
Yeah.
It helps that Coach Desi is a 49ers fan, so she's on top of all of them. There's plenty of Bills injuries we could talk about if we wanted to, but we're not.
What did you say? I'm on top? No, I'm just kidding. We won't go there. So rehab is, they're saying he'll be out for the whole season. My question to you was going to be, and I know prior to internal bracing and all of that, this would have been for sure, 6 months before he even can really push weight with it, right? So the question is, if he does have, or if he does end up being a candidate, if they are doing internal bracing for this injury, could that timeline be shifted? Is it possible we get him back before playoffs?
So what I had read is that it could be pushed up to maybe 6 months, but because it's so hard for it's the range of motion in that elbow that really becomes a big hindering point. No matter what kind of bracing they do, whether it's what kind of surgery they do, the bracing and the ability to get that full elbow extension takes so much work that it really is a little bit longer. And I think that's probably because that tricep comes down into that elbow, which then you have supination, pronation at the forearm, and we've got other movements that impact probably his ability to get full range. Plus, because of the nature of his sport and the nature of what he's doing, they're going to want that fully healed before he gets back on the field. I think if it was a 30-year-old guy who tore it playing tennis, I don't know how else you tear it. I don't know how. It's such a rare injury. I could see maybe you have full range of motion within 3 months, and after that you'd be able to rehab back to your sport. But I think that they're going to keep him the whole 9 months because it's so rare. They don't have a ton of research to back it up and say, yeah, maybe we can do this.
Yeah.
And you've got people who can step in. You
Right.
do.
Right. Allegedly. we're already thinning out on our bench. So I'm going to go into Christian McCaffrey. I talked earlier on the Eric Crocker show about the PRP injection. So Christian McCaffrey has been seen traveling to Germany for additional treatment for his Achilles tendinopathy / tendinitis. I had tweeted out when the news broke that I wasn't loving that. And it wasn't so much that I wasn't loving it for him trying to exhaust all options. I didn't love it because to me, it signals, PRP treatment, regenerative medicine treatment is not a first-line treatment for Achilles. I have yet to see him in a boot, which is what I would think is the next step in his progression to healing this thing. And you're now going to Germany, which to me says that all things have been exhausted. Maybe there's a partial tear. What is happening? Why are, just to me.
What are they not telling us?
Correct.
Right. Like what, and because he has been dealing with this for such a long time, this is not it's been nagging since last season?
Correct. It's not a singular thing. Correct. Yeah. So let me talk to you guys about PRP. PRP is platelet-rich plasma. I have actually utilized this treatment in patients in 2 capacities, one in orthopedics and one in lung disease treatment. It is utilizing platelet-rich plasma, which plasma is just like your blood. Platelets are the cells in your blood that helps to clot. Like if you cut yourself, it stops the bleeding. But they're also dense in growth factors. And these are things that help with the healing process, help to decrease inflammation, helps with tissue repair, all of these things. But the way that it's done here in the States is we extract blood from your veins. We take that blood, put it into a machine called a centrifuge that separates your cells. And then you're able to take off the cellular layer that's dense with protein, hence platelet rich, right? It makes it richer. Now you can utilize that, put that in an injection and inject it into a site. So I've done this for typically arthritic changes in the knee. We've done elbows or shoulders, knees, things like that. And so I know about it in that capacity. I personally have never used it in soft tissue like a tendon. But there is, lots of applications for PRP. You can utilize it for skin. That's actually kind of how it all got developed, is for wound healing. And so then orthopedics have been utilizing it for different processes, even in conjunction with surgeries to help heal, the healing process. In Achilles tendinopathy, you have basically like micro tears, like tissue that's just kind of flaking and just not quality. And it's healing with scar tissue. So it just kind of then becomes a rolling problem, right? Because scar tissue isn't as pliable as your regular tissue. So the hope is that you put something like platelet-rich plasma on it, and it kind of helps to heal those little micro tears and those little, chronic changes that are happening to the tissue. In Germany, they are able to do things to manipulate the platelet-rich plasma, right? We cannot
That's
do
what I was
that.
going to ask you. What is the difference between what he would get here in the US and what he's getting in Germany?
Yes, so we cannot do anything to manipulate those cells. There's nothing else that we can put into it. There's nothing else that we can do to alter what we inject. So that is what they can do in Germany. They can combine it with other things and maybe create a solution that would be a little bit more potent. Here, the bottom line,
like maybe a steroid injection or something like that in addition, or?
Well, I love that you said steroid injection, because actually you never really want to. I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole with a steroid injection. So there have been studies that show you can get Achilles tendon rupture from injecting with steroids. So that is a place you would not get them. So that was kind of something else I was going to bring up is Christian McCaffrey. These injuries are not something like, when you have knee pain or knee swelling, you can inject steroids in there and you just put them out on the field and let's go. That's not something that's a viable option for Achilles tendon patients because of the tendon rupture. In fact, I looked up a couple of studies, and there was one that's called Injection Therapies for Achilles Tendinopathy. And this is they looked at a wide variety of different studies to look to see, was there anything that over the course of many different studies, was there anything that came to light? And in that, and these were injections that it could have been cortisone injections, it could have been PRP, it could have been other types of injections, combinations of things. And in one of the studies, they actually had complications of Achilles tendon rupture. So even in the studies, so, it's not usually an option for them.
It's
but
not something you want.
There's things that they can maybe use to stimulate the production of the stem cells or the PRP cells. So those kind of things would be what I would think could be utilized with it. Other anti-inflammatory properties that they can use.
That makes sense.
The other thing I wanted to point out is PRP is only as good as what you produce. So when I was doing these procedures, when you spin down the blood, you can see the separation. You can see kind of how much they make, how thick that layer is or small that layer is. Then you have to say, okay, what's the quality of that, right? So people that have bad disease processes or maybe don't produce good quality platelets or their platelet counts are low, you inject somebody with that's not going to be the same thing as injecting somebody who has good quality platelets or produce higher number of platelets. And the thing is, you cannot, like Beth, I couldn't take your platelets and inject them into me. Okay, so
that's what I was going to ask you. That was the next question.
It
has to be your own platelets.
It has to be your own, because then you worry about a cross reaction that can be very dangerous. And here in the States, you absolutely cannot do that. And I'm not sure anywhere else that that's happening either. So you can only have your own. So I'm sure Christian McCaffrey has amazing platelets. I think,
Let's hope.
And so, but I did look at other studies, and there was one that I found. It was a systematic review. It's called The Use of PRP Treatment of Achilles Tendinopathy. In this study, they were able to look at 5 randomized controlled trials for prospective to retrospective. Retrospective means they were already, they just looked at the data after it's already been done. And these were all included in this systematic review. And their conclusion says, and I'll read this verbatim, although many of the retrospective studies suggested an advantage of using PRP, the higher level of evidence studies do not support a significant efficacy. So, does this mean that the sky is falling? He shouldn't go. He shouldn't try it? Absolutely not. I think if I were Christian McCaffrey, I'd be doing whatever I could to do it. But again, you have to be careful with these studies because you're only going to get a good result if you produce good quality platelets, right? So it's not, that's not going to be the same for every participant in these studies. So it's really hard to look at studies of PRP because it's not like doing a study where everybody
gets the same drug.
Right. Where everybody's given 500 milligrams of Tylenol, right? That's a standard amount. Now you're like, oh, well, Beth's getting Beth's platelet-rich plasma, and I don't know how good Beth's platelets are. So until we set a standard and it's like everybody only gets this number of cells, no matter what they make, it's hard to do that. So
yeah,
give it a try. I'm here for it. I'm going to stay prayed up. Listen, we've got to have him back. But I don't think my opinion has changed since the start of this. Achilles tendonitis is a nagging problem that is chronic. And even if he makes it back onto the field, I don't know how long we would get to have him before it might flare back up again. So,
and how he feels, I mean, it's one of those things where he's going to be, you think about the same thing with the guys that have had the Achilles tendon ruptures, right? How it's always in the back of their mind, right? We talked about Kirk Cousins, how it took him so long, how it's still, he doesn't play like he used to play, right? He's still concerned about how it feels, what he's doing. It's always in the back of his mind. So I wonder if it'll be the same thing for him, which is horrible for him because he's a phenomenal player, right? A phenomenal athlete. So hopefully they can come up with some solutions and some ways to move forward so that he can come back to the game.
Exactly. I know. Hoping the best for him. So, all right, we're going to go on to our next segment. Who's in the news? And love him or hate him, it's Brett Favre. Brett Favre. If you watch that movie. That's from Something About Mary. But Brett Favre recently has come out. It's come out that he has Parkinson's disease. And I made this beautiful image here to say, concussions to blame, ? So I did find an article so we know concussions certainly can be the cause for PTE or CTE. And now in an article that I pulled up from Science News, it says, caution ahead, linking concussions to Parkinson's and dementia. And in this article, it says, regardless of age, sex, socioeconomic status, and residence, having suffered a single concussion in one's lifetime increase the likelihood of later being diagnosed with Parkinson's disease by 57%, like one concussion.
57%.
Right.
I mean, it's funny that you're reading this verbatim because I had highlighted it to make sure it got read or spoken about because I was like, this is insanity.
Yeah. And if that's
continue, because it continue.
Right. Dementia by 72%. So when I said I was going to talk about myself later, like I have had a couple concussions. One, I was in middle school playing softball. My coach hit a pop fly and I was in the outfield and I lost the ball. The sun came right over my glove and I lost the ball and the ball hit me square in the head. I ended up somehow getting home and my mom said like I couldn't really answer questions. She took me to the emergency room and the stitches of the softball were imprinted in my forehead. It was swollen and the stitches of the ball were imprinted in my forehead. And it was so bad that I guess the emergency room nurses thought that I had infected stitches. That's what it looked like. So I have suffered a legit concussion. I've had other
serious concussion.
Yeah, I've had some other head injuries. So I feel this. Like I feel like, oh, is this early dementia? I had a birthday yesterday. I'm not getting any younger. And sometimes there's just words that it just can't formulate in my head. But the other things, so again, Parkinson's, 57%, dementia by 72%, ADHD by 39%, which is also something I feel like in my later adult years, I'm feeling a little more difficulty with staying focused. And then mood and anxiety disorders by 72%. Then it goes on to say sustaining multiple concussions further increase the risk for developing both Parkinson's and dementia. Folks, this is bigger than CTE. You have a multitude of problems that can come from singular concussion, let alone multiple ones.
I hope that they do some more studies, because these findings are so significant that I need somebody to repeat it. I really need this to be studied again and get similar data and similar results, because it's dementia 72%. I mean, I can't even fathom. So this is kind of my wheelhouse. I'm big neuro PT, concussions, brain injury, TBIs. Like this is kind of my wheelhouse. And it was just so amazing to listen to, or to read through some of these articles that you sent. And then I kind of did a little bit more delving in, which is why I didn't look a whole lot at the tricep tear, because it was just so interesting. It's amazing to me. So Parkinson's, there is no known cause, right? There's no cause, there's no cure. But looking at, when Brett Favre was talking about it, about saying being diagnosed with Parkinson's, one of the things that I found interesting is that concussions increase the amount of Lewy bodies in the brain, right? And that ends up impacting dementia and Parkinson's. So it's a different Parkinson's than what everybody else is that we would typically see. There's two different types. There's a couple times, more than two, of Parkinson's. But Lewy bodies are, I have it written down because I knew I wasn't going to remember. But they produce, it's a toxic protein that's in your brain that ends up creating the symptoms that you see in Parkinson's. So it's slightly different than what we see in other Parkinson's and adults that have it as they get older. But there's still no cure. There's still no true cause. But this is probably the first time I've ever seen anything that is like linked an injury or an outside entity to Parkinson's.
Yeah, I'll tell you, in the article, it says that this was not the first study to connect Parkinson's to concussions. But what makes this study different is that it was a retrospective study, meaning there's already data there. They just went back into patient records and found it. So it says this was a robust, case-controlled 25-year retrospective study. 25 years, guys, examining medical records from 1990 to 91 to 2014 to 15. So it compared the health outcomes of 47,483 people. Guys, this is a huge retrospective study, who had suffered concussions, with 139,030 healthy people, matched by age, sex, socioeconomic status, and geographical location. So this is a valid study. When you have that many people and that much data, we've got to really start to look at how we protect people. And I think I applaud the NFL for making the efforts to really look at this from not just helmet safety, but rule changes and all of these things, because these guys suffer a lot of different neurological issues in their years after playing football. And we were just talking about Tua Tagovailoa, the multiple concussions he's had. So even after his first one, he was at high risk for Parkinson's and dementia and all of the ADHD and mood disorders. And he's just, not forget about even CTE. I mean, that's ultimately something he's also going to be at risk.
The things that come down the road, that people are at risk for, that now we're able to look retrospectively and say, no, it might be because of this. It may not be. You're absolutely right. But the increased risk, 70%, like 50%, those aren't small numbers. Like those are very substantial. Those are very much reasons why you need to be paying attention to the concussions in your health and what's going on.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like he's coming back in a couple weeks. That's his plan. He's on injured reserve for 4, but last I heard, he's coming back.
I have no comment on that. None. All right. Well, that's it for.
Let's talk about something nicer. What else? What's fun? What can we talk about fun?
Here's fun.
Next week's picks.
There's a game tonight, guys. That's what's fun. We're going to look at our picks for this week. I'm going to put it up there. Picks for this week. Tonight's game is Dallas at New York Giants. So they're playing at MetLife. And Beth, we're split on this. I don't know why. I just want to like torture myself, but I picked the Dallas Cowboys, but you picked the Giants. What do you think?
I mean, my husband's a Giants fan. It's in New York. They're coming off a win, right? So like I feel good things for them.
Here we go. And
we're gonna watch until the power goes out.
Okay. Plan. Well, let's hope the power doesn't go out. I don't want that to happen to you. But yeah. All right. And then we have Sunday games. We have Saints at Falcons, which we both picked the Saints. Sorry, Falcons.
I really wanted to pick the Falcons, but I just couldn't. There's a history. We do not do well with the Saints.
No judgment. We have Rams at Bears. And we're split on this too. So I have the Rams because, I mean, they just beat our ass. So, I mean, why not go with the Rams? And you have the Bears, which is kind of fascinating to me. Caleb Williams, are you a believer? Like what? Or did Gabe pick this and you were like, okay, my friends.
Actually, they haven't made their picks. They got to make their picks tonight before the game. No, he's a newbie. I feel like he's got to figure it out. Okay. So I'm here for it. Let's give it a try.
All right. This is actually the one that we're split on a lot of these. So then it's Vikings playing the Packers in Green Bay. So you have Packers, I have Vikings. This one was tricky. Because I know the Packers have been having great success without Jordan Love. But the Vikings, I don't know. I've got faith in Sam Darnold now. Like, I don't know. They're 3-0. Like, that's, I guess, but if they're going to have an L, I think this could be it. This might even be my choice for the game of the week.
That's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. I picked the Packers because teams are not going to be 3-0 after this week, other than teams aren't going 4-0. Buffalo's the only team that's going 4-0.
Oh, Beth has put it out there. The Chiefs are.
So that is. So that is why I think I might have picked the Chiefs, though. Actually, I might have kept. No, I didn't. I stood firm. Yeah, no. Buffalo's going to go 4-0. The rest of them are going to drop to 3-1. Okay. So that is why I picked the Packers.
Okay,
and the Colts.
I was going to say, and the Colts. So we have Steelers playing in Indianapolis against the Colts. I picked the Steelers. Beth has the Colts. We're going to move on to the next grouping, which, sorry, guys, a little slow here. Here we go. Here's the next group. So we have Broncos playing the Jets, also at MetLife. We both picked the Jets. So, we'll just leave that there. We'll make no comments. The Eagles are playing the Bucs.
Not because we want them to win.
Yeah, I was going to say we obviously are not.
Not because we want them to win.
We have Eagles playing the Bucs here in Tampa Bay. We both have the Bucs. We love Baker Mayfield, I think, is the story that we love. And I think both of us are kind of anti-Eagles. Sorry, Eagles fans out there. We love you. We're just, I'm still butthurt from the whole Dom thing and the losing the NFC Championship game and all of that, whatever. And then we're going to the Cardinals, right? The Bengals. Bengals are playing the Panthers in Carolina. I think this could be the Bengals win, right? They're going to win. They're going to win. If they lose against the Panthers.
Right. Then
there's going to be jokes.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
And it's going to be about.
They have to win.
It will be about
Ellen DeGeneres, or is it about who?
We're doing that.
Eminem, Ellen DeGeneres, all the options.
We're going in fully on you if you guys lose to the Panthers. Okay, then we have Jacksonville playing Texans. Come on, CJ Stroud. This is going to be your rebound game. So, although Technics Chick has been very clear about the gig is up on the Shanahan tree offense. So we'll see.
Well, I'll be interested to see that now. That was a point that I did not think about before, so I'll be curious to see how that.
She's awesome. You need to be here every week with us. Okay, then we have Commanders at Cardinals. So this could be a sneaky good game too, because Kyler Murray.
This was a hard game for me to pick.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I went back and forth on this several times. And I just picked the team with home field advantage. It wasn't anything smarter than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, we wrap up the Sunday games with the Patriots playing my Niners. We are at home in Santa Clara. We both picked the Niners. I'm also hoping we rebound. We get this back to 500, and we'll be good to go. Then we have the Browns playing the Raiders. This was another game that I thought could be sneaky good, but I'm all in on the Raiders because I don't like the Browns quarterback.
And I get that. And I think this was a coin flip for me. This was a coin flip, but I'm glad that we've got some different picks this week. I think it's going to be a much more fun matchup.
Yeah. And you know what? I do like Max Crosby. Like, I do like that guy. I think he's an incredible defensive player. He's playing his ass off. He could be one of the defensive player of the year candidates. So I'm here for the Raiders beating the Browns. Then we've got the Chiefs against the Chargers. The Chargers are, did they come out and say that Herbert's not going to play this week? I think he's injured.
I think I just heard it. I don't think it came out until today. I think I just heard it today.
I mean,
it's got to happen eventually. And they're 3-0. So they need to go down.
Well, you picked them to win. Oh, you mean the Chiefs. The
Chiefs are 3-0.
Yeah. Okay,
so it's time for them to go down.
I don't know if that's the week. I'm going to pick the week they go down is when we play them in like 2 or 3 weeks.
I can't have them win all the way to that point.
I know. Listen, I will not be upset.
And they're not playing that well. They are not playing well enough to win the games that they're winning. They really aren't. So
I'm happy to be wrong about that one for sure. And then your precious Bills. Your Bills are playing the Ravens.
Monday night.
My husband's upset that I picked the Bills.
Well,
I'm like, you complain about Lamar. Why are you not picking the Bills? So that rounds up that. I will say I made the joke on Twitter, I believe. I said something like, when we lost to this game this past week, I tweeted out, I better see a different 49er team when I go to the Bills game in December at night in the cold. Essentially, I don't want to freeze my ass and lose my ass at the same time.
Well, you just might. So you're going to just have to.
Wow, shots have been fired already.
Prepare yourself for that.
All right. I'll find a table to jump through or something.
Okay. That'll make things all better.
And then we wrap up week 4 on Monday night when the Tennessee Titans play the Miami Dolphins in Miami. And we have the Seahawks playing the Lions in Detroit. I definitely don't think the Titans-Dolphins game is going to be entertaining, but the Seahawks-Lions game could be a sneaky game of the week as well.
Yeah, I'm more excited about the Seahawks-Lions game. Anything right now with the Dolphins, I don't want to have anything to do with. I don't want to watch them. I don't want to know anything about it. So I just kind of avoid it. And also the Titans are 0-3 right now, so they need a win.
Wow.
So this week I didn't have a whole lot of thought process behind it other than getting people a win or a loss that haven't gotten one yet.
Okay. She just doesn't want any zeros on anybody's win-loss.
No, except for Buffalo.
Okay. Well, Laura, if you're listening, or Laura, if you're listening anywhere, we both picked the Lions. She's our Lions fan that listens to the show. And she's actually been on our show last season when the Niners and the Lions played in the NFC Championship game. So, all right. Well, guys, that wraps up week 3 going into week 4. Again, prayers with everybody who's in the path of Hurricane Helene. Pray for your safety, pray for your provisions. And guys, join us out on Instagram. Make sure that you let us know if we got these picks right or wrong. Make sure you vote on our fit of the week and enjoy the games this weekend, guys. That's it for us. See you later.
Bye.